And welcome to the Purple Pants Podcast as we continue our coverage of Amazing Race, season 34. And you know, if I'm talking Amazing Race, I can't do it without my partner in crime, the one, the only, Brooke Camhi, the winner of Amazing Race, season 29. And we are joined by, I'm just going to call it early, some legends, Emily and Molly. How are you ladies doing?
We're good.
Fantastic. Thanks. Legends, though. That's a lot to live up to.
I mean,
He doesn't
listen.
call anybody a legend. This is high praise from Brice.
Fingers crossed, Brooke really got me into Amazing Race. And so I've been watching Amazing Race now for the past 4 seasons. And there are like 2 contestants I always look for, and it's the father and daughter, and it's the twins. And so when I saw you guys and I heard your backstory, I was like, okay, forget Amazing Race. Like, I need to hear more of this story. Like, how did you guys decide to do Amazing Race? Like, I just am so curious because I feel like hearing your story about how you're identical twins and you found each other through taking a DNA test through your daughter less than a year ago. Like, that for me is so crazy good. Like, it's just like I would just be screaming at the top of my lungs.
Yeah. Whose daughter was it?
Oh,
Emily's.
Emily.
Got it.
Mine.
So yeah, I mean, we, since meeting, just look for any opportunity we can to have time together in person. 36 years loss is a lot. It's your entire childhood, a good portion of your adult life. A lot of milestones are passed by already. And so the Amazing Race is a way to sort of step away from reality, put your cell phones down. I mean, it's probably the only way work would have let us have the time off.
Definitely, not probably.
Yeah, right. Like, I just want to take a month off to go to the spa with my sister. That wouldn't go over too well. So, it was like, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. So why not give it a go? And we made it.
I mean, I think too, like, even beyond getting onto the show, the process of applying to the show together was something that brought us closer together. And even now, post-show, like these interview opportunities, it's another opportunity for us to see one another and connect in a different way. So it's been beautiful. It's perfect for us.
That's so interesting because I remember the Amazing Race application. It's like yay thick. And so it must have been interesting for the 2 of you because it asked about, your biggest fears. What do you like to do? What do you do? Like, what are your hobbies? And for you 2, did you find yourself being like, oh my God, I like the same thing, or oh my God, I'm scared of the same thing? Or did you learn a lot about each other through the application?
Yes, I learned very quickly that Emily would be doing all of the extreme challenges.
That's fair. Okay, so I'm going to ask a race question. So I find that every season there's a contestant who brings like a 40-pound bag. On my season, a girl bought cowboy boots and the bag was bigger than her. So was there anybody who seriously overpacked? Did they discard stuff along the way? And is there anything you wish that you'd brought that you were like, damn, I forgot to bring that, but that would have been useful?
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I think that as far as like preparing for the race goes, we didn't do much to prepare except make sure that our packing was on point. Nice. So I got my bag down to like 8.5 pounds maybe, and we made sure that we had all of the essential items. My backpack was pretty tiny. Molly, yours was pretty light too.
Yeah, mine was 14 pounds.
That's fantastic.
Our clothes are tiny. I don't know if you saw, but us stacked up next to some of those other teams, like our clothes take up half the amount of space in those bags as theirs do.
I think I have 8 pounds of toiletries, but that's just me.
But there were some teams that came in with some pretty big backpacks.
David and Aubrey, hello.
David and Aubrey.
Like, from their backpack size relative to their bodies, I think they had like the highest ratio. And I think it's because they like had to scramble to pack, like they didn't have the time and preparation we did.
Sharik had a pretty big backpack too. Is that the big orange backpack?
Yes, that's right.
But
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I was concerned about carrying the extra weight on my back, and these guys run in or come in with their like 40-pound backpacks, and they have no struggles at all. Like, oh man.
And speaking of the backpacks, I was on the show Survivor, and I remember when I first got to take a look at the cast when we were out in the Philippines, and I was like, oh my God, what did I just sign myself up for? What were your take when you got to see the cast as a whole?
I mean, I think the first thing we noticed was the diversity above all. It was incredible. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a cast like that on any show in the US. And it felt so special to see, especially so much Asian representation. But as far as an intimidation factor, I would say Glenda and Lumumba, because they sat right in front of us at one of our little sessions to prepare. And I was like, oh God, that's an athlete. Marcus and Michael, all male team. And then I think
Maddie and Quentin.
Yes. We could tell they were athletes, dancers. I could tell they were dancers. I was a dancer myself just by the way they carried themselves. And then I think Will and Abby. Oh my God, they're gonna be like Ivy League athletes, like professional rowers or something crazy. So yeah, lots of like physical intimidation.
This season has so many. Sorry, Brice.
No, go ahead.
This season had so many dancers on it, and they did not mention you were one of them. I was like, I can't wait for a dance challenge. Everybody's a dancer. I was musical theater major, so I was waiting for a dance challenge. We never had one. So what did you think was the hardest part? Because I feel like a lot of the teams, I mean, my season notwithstanding, but most of the time the teams have, tight relationships. And I would think that twins, normally, my best friends growing up were twins. They could read each other's mind. They never had to speak to each other. Did you find that did the twin thing kick in? Did you find that you were at a disadvantage because you had a much shorter time to know each other than everybody else? Or did it all sort of like fall into place for you guys without saying how you did? Because I'm not allowed to ask that.
That's a tough question. I think that Molly and I, when we met, like, we've only known each other for a year and a half at this point, but I feel like I know her better than anyone else in my life. And I get her, and I think she gets me. So while we didn't know one another, we still understood one another on a different kind of level. So during times of stress, I could tell, what Molly needed and vice versa. So we were able to kind of temper the arguments. So I don't know. You want to take that, Molly?
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
I agree with that, but also like not knowing. I mean, I guess communication styles is very similar, but like it didn't translate to navigating. Like that was really tough. We never got to practice navigating in a car together because we live, in different parts of the country. And to be honest, we didn't even think we were going to get picked. So I would say preparation wise, we could have done a lot more. So yeah, that was difficult. Like not knowing, I think not having practice with communication, particularly with like instructing on how to do something. So like we probably could have like, I don't know, pretended to cook together and like I directed you on a recipe to make sure you could do it or something. I don't know. There are better ways. So for all the people that want to apply that don't live in the same state, make sure you practice that.
Well, in our defense, I think the other teams probably struggled just as much as we did. Navigating in foreign countries in a car that's not yours. You're in the backseat with the map. I'm in the front seat. I'm supposed to be the eyes. We can't read the street signs. I mean, I don't know. Their teams had some difficulties with the navigating too.
I have a map complaint too, and this is also a test. The maps you get are gigantic.
Okay.
Like, my God. So I bought this map. I had this here because I was like, what was I used to? I bought a map of Seoul, Korea because I was like, one day I will go there to practice. And this is the size of it, right?
Okay.
And so you open up the maps that they give you, and it's literally like 6 of these, all attached.
Wow.
Wider than the backseat of the car.
I'm sitting here going, they gave you a map? What do you mean? You're lucky you got anything.
This is true. That's why I actually posted a story that said, I have a love-hate relationship with these gigantic cats.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, Molly, I have a question for you. With my friendships and even with like my brothers, believe it or not, they tend to call me the dramatic one. So when something kind of happens, I'm like, what, who? Like, so between you and Emily, who would you say was the one that seemed to have more outbursts, and who was the one that seemed to have the more compassion to be like, you know what, calm down, we could get through this? Which one? Am I speaking to my twin now, or should I be turning to Emily?
I would say Emily is more moody than me. I don't know if dramatic is the
And
word.
Emily agrees. There you go.
I agree.
That is
I'm a single
on the race.
Is there anyone that you think that you will both be friends with? Okay, better question. Is there anyone who, if you never saw them again, it would be too soon? You don't have to answer that. Who are you going to be friends with forever? I'm told I should keep things more positive. So who do you think is there anyone you bonded with where you think you'll be friends for life?
For life. Ooh.
Well, I think for Molly, she actually lives geographically close to several of the teams. So she's been able to visit with Lewis and Michelle, and you have plans to see, or you've seen Marcus too. You have plans to see Marcus and his wife and Glenda and Lumumba. So geographically, it's easy for her to stay in touch. But we have a group chat. We're all in touch, and it's all very positive and friendly. I think I'd love to see everybody.
Yeah,
I love that. How has this process been doing the Amazing Race and being as that you guys just met a year ago, do you feel like being on Amazing Race has almost like helped blend your families together, because it's like something that like your families can watch, and it almost is like it's bonding your families together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we couldn't all get together to watch, physically, but just like getting the text messages and having the group responses and the cheering for us, it's a shared experience that we can all be a part of. Like I said, we missed a lot of milestones. I would consider this a milestone for us, and everyone gets to enjoy it. And even our friends too, I can't imagine what it would have been like growing up together and having a shared group of friends. So this is a way to sort of all bring us, into that one circle.
I love that.
This is a very positive interview. This is
yes.
We're very positive
people.
I'm getting that. I like that. I feel like that means you're going to be successful.
Well, maybe.
At least on the race. I don't know.
Knowing what you know now, is there something that you would specifically prepare for or do differently going into the race?
You take it, Emily.
I would have driven more stick shift vehicles.
That's the answer. That is the answer right there.
And several more hours. I only got behind the wheel for about 4 hours the week before we left.
Emily! Now, if I cuss you out on the episode, just know I'm cussing you out with love.
She tried. She got behind the wheel of a car.
Yeah.
She's not one of the people that I didn't.
I will tell you though, my teachers all said, "Oh my God, you're doing amazing! I can't believe you're driving this well already." So I was like, "Oh yeah, I got this. No biggie."
Here's the question: in those 4 hours, because you couldn't tell your teachers what you were doing this for, did you stop the car on a hill, get out, run into the car, and start it? Because that's what I practiced. And my driving teacher was like, "What in the hell are you doing? This is not normal. You're not going to have to do this." And I was like, "Don't you worry. This is what I'm going to have to do." But I couldn't tell him.
That is hilarious. I did not think to do that, but that is a good tip for any future race.
Yeah, he taught me FDR in New York City. I was like, "We're pulling over." And he's like, "This is unsafe." And I said, "I don't care." But it's helpful if you need to drive it. Your first leg was not a stick shift, was it?
Thank God, no.
Yeah. I didn't know if they would do any to the new racers, because I feel like stick shift is a thing that's sort of been a little in the past, but hopefully it'll come back. Those are my favorite legs for people have to try.
If they would have thrown out no non-eliminations and a scramble and a stick shift, like I might have just quit. I don't know. Like that's crazy.
What was your reaction when Phil told you guys that there is no non-elimination legs at all?
I gotta tell you, going into this, I was thinking, all right, Natalia or Arun and Natalia made it. So far, it's like, this could be our chance. Like maybe the universe will be behind us and we'll just hit all those non-elimination legs.
We call them the cats. We call them the cats because they have 9 lives.
The fact that you just
I was thinking that was going to be us.
So funny.
We stand Arun and Natalia. They were our favorite team to love, to hate, to hate, to love, to love, to hate, to hate, to love.
Their Truiser appearance was just amazing. Like I loved watching him try to sing and dance. Like, and he did it.
And he did it.
It was awesome.
He definitely did it. Brooke, do you have any other questions before we wrap up?
Yeah. Do you have any, if you were talking, if there's a kid looking out there who wants to be on The Amazing Race, is there one tip, one little bit of advice that you would give them either for auditioning or for practicing? What's the one thing you would tell someone who is like, I'm going to try out for this next year?
Oh gosh. Well, it's a show about relationships, right? So make sure you select a really good partner. I think I didn't know what I was getting into with Emily. She didn't know what she was getting into with me. So you'll see how it turned out. But I think the people that have the strongest relationships probably are the most successful. Though there were the teams that met each other on the start line that did well as well. So as long as you're a maybe not a hard head, pick a partner that's not a hard head.
And you guys are still talking, so I don't know how it ended, but you're still family and friends, so that's good.
Yeah, unconditionally.
We love it. Well, Emily and Molly, thank you so much for the opportunity to chit chat with you guys. I think that my love for you has grown so much more through this podcast because I was already feeling y'all, but just to get this energy, I don't know. We might need to do a DNA test because we might be triplets. Because I think we're a family now. But thank you guys so much for this opportunity, and we look forward to watching, cheering, and I might yell at y'all a couple of times. Brooke will keep me in check, but we look forward to getting to know you even more during this season of Amazing Race, season 34.
Thanks
so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants podcast. You better get your headphones and listen up quick. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants podcast. You're trying to unwind. You better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants podcast. You're trying to get your snack. You better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.